now. It's time to listen, think, and discern. This is Bob Burney Live.
Welcome to Bob Burney Live. This is the 4 o'clock hour, and my telephone number is 877-BOB-LIVE, 877-262-5483. We talk about all kinds of topics and subjects on this program, but there is no topic or subject that I would rather talk about than family. And to help us talk about family, it is my privilege to welcome Adam Josefczyk, who is the Vice President of Operations for Citizens for Community Values. Adam, welcome again to the program. Whoops, I didn't push the button. All right, Adam, there you are. Now you're on the air.
Thanks, Bob.
I forgot to push the button. All right, Adam, good to have you here. And by the way, congratulations on your position with Citizens for Community Values. It's a great, great, great organization. And
Thank you,
I know that you're going to be a great asset to them. So congratulations on that.
Appreciate that. It's very kind of you.
Tell me about the Family Project.
Yes, so the Family Project, many of your listeners hopefully had the opportunity to participate and watch the Truth Project. Bob, did you have a chance to experience the Truth Project?
It was phenomenal.
Wasn't it incredible? Del Tackett and that whole program was just, that apologetics and worldview was just excellent, right?
Did a great job.
So focus on the family, who Citizens for Community Values, CCV, is nationally associated with. They're one of our national partners, along with Family Research Council and Alliance Defending Freedom and American Family Association. Focus on the Family has actually followed up the Truth Project with the Family Project, which is a tremendous small group experience. It's another DVD curriculum with 12 lessons based on topics about the family. It explores God's design and purpose for the family, biblical truths about the role of families, and discusses how families can incorporate those truths into their everyday experiences. And the great part about it, what I've really enjoyed, is that it helps us embrace God's design for the family, even as we grapple with our own brokenness and imperfections in our own families.
Who is the presenter, or are there several presenters?
Yes, so there's actually, the movie, Focus on the Family, actually had a movie out recently called Irreplaceable.
Right.
And Tim Cicerik from New Zealand, I think they chose him because of that incredible accent, right? Tim Cicerik from New Zealand traveled around to different cultures and different experts, asking them about learning about the family and learning about the design of the family. Well, anyway, so he is one of the voices on the DVD, but it's actually interesting. It's actually not one presenter this time, which, like you said, the Truth Project was more of a classroom setting. This actually goes through a variety of different experts, different families, and so kind of voices in the crowd, voices on the street, as well as folks like Eric Metaxas and Andy Stanley and Russell Moore and others that, pastors and members of Focus on the Family, like Jim Daly and others that folks would know of.
Okay, who is this aimed at? What is your target audience?
Yeah, so this, right, we know that thriving families lead to thriving communities, and that, thriving communities are ultimately what, God uses to transform the world, right? So this is for any family that wants to understand their significance in God's plan, how to live, and how to live as a family with an eternal perspective and of God's design, and so this is aimed for all families, and not only those who are married with children. This is for my wife and I don't have children yet. Hopefully someday God will bless us with children down the line. But we're recently married, and this has been incredibly helpful for us. I know that this has been helpful for some of my single friends have watched this with me and said, wow, this is really this really helped outline God's plan for marriage and then motherhood and fatherhood, and I'm really glad I watched this. So I think this is a tremendous resource for anyone, and especially churches, right? Especially churches with their small groups and with their family ministries. This is a tremendous resource that every church should have, and they can order it at ccv.org/family project. That's ccv.org church.com/family project.
Well, you partially answered my next question is, who did you want to market this to? So you're saying that this would be great for a mother and father to sit down with their kids and watch. Would this be appropriate to watch as an entire family with their children?
Yes, it's kid friendly. Now, I think that some of it obviously goes into deeper ideas that the family, the parents would then have to break down.
Sure.
Maybe for younger children, but oh, absolutely. Absolutely available too.
But then Sunday schools, small groups, and so forth. I saw the Truth Project, a local church here in the Columbus area, showed it. I think it was on a series of Sunday nights, and they had huge crowds for it, a large crowd on Sunday nights. So what you're saying is this is very, very adaptable to many different circumstances or settings. Small group Sunday school classes, churches to use on Sunday night, family Bible study. So you're saying that you're trying to reach a large swath of our audience, and you can adapt it to almost any setting with people who are interested in knowing more about the family.
Precisely, Bob. Precisely. You've hit the nail on the head. Right. It's fantastic for churches. Right. I think that every church should have a copy of the Family Project for use and for families to use, as well as it's a tremendous Sunday school curriculum, just like the Truth Project was. I would also say there are also individuals who are listening, right, and
Sure.
individuals who run other ministries or just individual families, right? They want to get their own copy, and they're definitely going to share this with their friends. This is definitely something that's going to, I think, the word gets out there, it's going to build the word and the popularity that the Truth Project had, because Jim Daly, who's the current president of Focus on the Family, he said that the institution of the family stands at a pivotal moment in history, and I think he's right. He says you don't have to look very far to see the signs of trouble, divorce, abuse, abandonment, addictions, and so much more. But amidst this bleak landscape, there's reason for hope, and that hope comes from the gospel of Jesus Christ and from God's blueprint for the family. And it's interesting. Because Bob, I was thinking about this and fighting for family values and fighting for marriage between a man and a woman and life and religious freedom. And hasn't this been a great week for religious freedom, right? Fighting for those things, it's interesting too, because I was watching this and it was amazing how much this reminded me of kind of the importance of investing in our families, right? Investing in our spouses, investing in our children, and having the Family Project as a resource is something that will bear much fruit as we go down through spiritual generations of family members. And it's also something that engages the culture and engages our non-Christian friends. Right? You don't have to be a Christian to appreciate the truths that the Family Project communicates, and it does a great job of communicating that to someone and helping draw people into the gospel who don't believe in Christ.
And it's 12 different sessions.
It is 12 different sessions. 12 lessons. And
okay.
Well, some of those topics are.
And I've got to ask, what's the cost?
Absolutely, the cost is $99.
Okay.
And that's for all the lessons. It's for the 5 DVDs. It's for the Leader's Guide, the Participant's Guide, and all of the small group promotional materials that come with that.
Great. You started to give me the name of some of the sessions or the titles of some of the sessions, and I interrupted you.
No problem at all, right? It goes over the sessions, mothers as image bearers, fathers as image bearers, what God has joined together, let us make man. What does it mean that we're made in the image of God? For this reason, what does this tell us about God that He unites the first human beings in a wedding, right? Then also the great mystery and the destiny, right? The foreshadowing that marriage has of the wedding of the wedding feast of the Lamb, right? Christ and His church, and then my imperfect family, right? It says it talks about families consumed with appearing perfect. We're denying the reality and denying the power of God's grace in our lives. So how do we being imperfect and being broken, how do we, shine God's, light through the testimony of our family? So it's a fantastic small group session.
We're talking about the Family Project from Focus on the Family, and you can order yours from the folks at CCV. Let me make sure I got this right, Adam. It's www.ccv.org/family project. Is that correct?
You've got it.
ccv.org/family project. You can order your set of the 12 DVDs, individual
5
DVDs,
12 sessions.
5 DVDs, 12 sessions. All right. It is the Family Project put out by Focus on the Family, and our friends at Citizens for Community Values are helping them get the word out. And I'm delighted that Adam Josefczyk has been able to join us and spread the good news. It sounds wonderful. I'm looking forward to seeing it, Adam.
Bob, absolutely. Thank you so much for the time to talk about it. You can tell I'm excited about it.
My pleasure. Adam Josefczyk, Vice President of Operations for Citizens for Community Values. Adam, it's always a privilege to visit with you. God bless.
Yeah, Bob, thank you so much for the work you're doing.